the Lakers and Celtics have one of the most storied rivalries in all of sports, but it was pretty one-sided for decades. Boston won the first 8 NBA finals between the franchises, but that all changed in 1985 when the Lakers finally got over the hump, clinching the title underneath all those banners at the Boston Garden. Here's a look back at that historic series.
9-0 in the finals against the LA Lakers.
One of the things that we were not able to do was beat the Celtics. The Lakers had horrible history going back to the Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, Elgin Baylor days. I think it was 7 or 8 finals the Lakers lost to the Celtics. Then in 1984, we got a chance to meet them again, and we lost in 84. So I started to believe that, damn, maybe there is some leprechaun or some luck in Boston.
We lost in 84, and of course, I read some of the stuff in the paper. The Lakers can never beat the Celtics, and I became more familiar with what took place in the 60s.
Like Cedric Maxwell once told me, if a Boston Celtics player was on fire and I had a cup of water, I'd drink it before I pour it on them to put them out.
When you win, biggest highs. When you lost, you felt like you lost in the first round. You went through so much.
Bird, double. Dennis Johnson, 2 seconds. It's good. The game is over.
And this is the thing we set out to do, to bring the series back to Boston. All the fans, all the telegrams, everything said bring it back. We secured that. But yet and still, we want to go back having to win one ball game.
Go to Parrish and Rambis knocks it away.
It's going to be tough going back to Boston, but they have to win 2 in a row. We feel that if we play like that, we can come out and win.
I was going to the airport the day before, and my dad, who was dropping me off at the airport, was like, "What do you think?" So we're gonna win, and we're gonna go and beat them in Game 6 and come home.
Loose ball, Lakers. And Magic says, let's settle down. He has a triple-double again. And Kareem comes back again. The Lakers are winning it. 3 in 6 years. LA comes to Boston and wins the world title.
The title is back. This afternoon in the Boston Garden, the Los Angeles Lakers defeated the defending world champion Boston Celtics to wrap up the NBA World Championship Series 4 games to 2.
They finally snapped the jinx, and the Lakers won it exactly where they wanted to win this world title, underneath the banners of the Boston Garden.
All the banners hanging, the odds were against us, everybody against us, and everybody thought we couldn't do it. We outworked them, we outplayed them the way they were supposed to do us, and it was real sweet.
Now the title is back
in LA.
Beating them in 1985, I think, was the biggest championship in Laker history, because not only were we representing ourselves, we were representing all those players that came before us and the fans that just heartbroken over the years. I think about Chick Hearn having to call those games all those years.
Hey, look at this! What?
This has removed the most odious sentence in the English language. It can never again be said that the Lakers have never beaten the Celtics.
Jim, this is for you. That's right. I guess it's time to party. Thank you, LA. It's time to get down.
It's the legacy that we bring, that we have, and again, you hate the Boston Celtics, but you have to love them because they started that championship back in the 60s with the great players they had there. So I think we always try to compare ourselves with greatness, and again, we have finally taken over greatness.
President Reagan greeted the new champions of professional basketball, the Los Angeles Lakers.
And it is we who today will say, hail to the Lakers.
People remember those championships forever. Especially the old timers that saw us play.
The Celtic burden, all those years that you've had to put up with, players and their families had to put up with, is over. That dynasty is broken. The Lakers are the world champions this year.
When I got back to Los Angeles, I started getting phone calls and messages from players that played on those teams in the 60s. Jerry, of course, Rudy LaRusso, and they were thanking, us and me, for breaking through. So that's when, I really got a sense of, how important it was to beat the Celtics.
Did you have fun Sunday?
Being able to go in there and beat them in the Garden, on that parquet floor, with all them little leprechauns running around talking all that smack, thinking they was gonna win, that was one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life.